Sveiki and welcome back to your Irregular Latvian lesson. If you've seen my videos on Nu and Gan, you can probably already guess that whatever word we're going to learn today can also be used for judging people. And you're right, Itin, Itin and its shorter version, it, are in theory particle words in the Latvian language. But you know what that means? They are actually irregular Latvian chameleon words that bring emphasis, attitude, and you guessed it, judgment. Let's go! But before we start, to the person who requested a video on Itin, where did you hear it? Sure, Itin exists in dictionaries and in Latvian grammar books, but you must have met the only Latvian that uses Itin in day-to-day speech. Nevertheless, I went through all the dictionaries to compile this more irregular than usual Irregular Latvian lesson. So, what does Itin mean literally? Well, nothing, but in combination with other words, it can have at least 5 different meanings. Absolutely, quite, relatively, kind of, and as if. In most of the following examples, Itin can be, and should be, substituted by its shorter version, it. But it has nothing to do with the English it. So erase that association from your mind if you formed it, and remember that it in Latvian is the shorter itin. First, you can combine itin with viss, everything, and nekas, nothing. In such a combination, itin could be also substituted by the Latvian word pilnīgi, which means totally or fully, from the word pilns, full. If you are a good person and like to give your family a fair warning about your horrible, dreadful mood that you're in today, you can tell them mani šodien kaitina itin viss. Everything, absolutely every single little thing is getting on my nerves today. So watch out, darling. On the flip side, itin nekas means nothing at all. Ja ledusskapi, in the fridge, nekā nav, there is nothing in the fridge, bummer, you need to go shopping for some groceries. But if ledusskapi nav itin nekā, then alert, alert, there is literally only mustard and butter in your fridge, which means it's time to make an emergency call. Hello, Mom. Sveiki, when are you coming to visit me? Today might be a good time. Man ledusskapi pele pakārās. Or a mouse has hung herself in my fridge, which is an expression, a quite grim one, saying, I have nothing to eat and I'm hungry. On a more positive note, if you are a positive person, you will see the good itin visā. But if you are a Latvian, you will know that itin nekam nav lielas nozīmes. Absolutely nothing in life is of huge importance. But if you are the type of person who doesn't really like feeling guilt, instead of saying man nav žēl, which means I am not sorry, you can say man itin nemaz nav žēl. I am not sorry in the slightest. For example, when deciding not to spend 62 hours of your life watching Breaking Bad, and then when the people who are outraged by this shocking decision tell you, tu itin neko nesaproti, you understand nothing, absolutely nothing in TV shows and in life, because how can you not watch Breaking Bad? You can tell them, well, I get on itin labi anyway. I get on quite well anyway. Like this video if you feel the same way. Next, itin plus kā, or itin and how, is a structure used to express something that kind of is, kind of isn't, and you kind of guess it might be. But for this one, you are definitely more likely to use it instead of itin, so to make it itkā instead of itinkā. Itinkā exists, but in novels from the 20th century and before. And remember, itkā is written separately. If you're learning this for the first time, you might think, okay, whatever, but this is one of the most common mistakes that Latvians make. And if you ever see anybody write itka together, don't hesitate to point out that huge mistake and establish your grammatical superiority. A Latvian sure would not let such a chance slip. In some cases, itka means more or less. Es itka pabeidzu savu projektu. I more or less finished my project. Or you can use itka as I guess when retelling rumors and things that you are not sure about. For example, viņš it kā zina, ko runā. He more or less knows what he's talking about, which means you're not sure he knows what he's talking about, but it serves you well in this situation to believe that he does. And you can also use itka to say that something is happening to you, maybe, but you don't really want to declare officially that it is. For example, if you say, man reibst galva, my head is spinning, and man sāp sirds, my heart is hurting, then it's clear you are not well and you require immediate medical attention. But if you are at the doctor's office and trying to get him to prescribe you a little something, you might sit there and say, it kā galva reibtu, it is as if my head would turn. It kā sirds sāpētu, it is as if my heart would hurt. And then look at him like... By the way, that doesn't work on Latvian doctors, because Latvians only go see the doctor when they're dying. And for this phony disease, the doctor would tell you, go, run along and eat some ķiploki. That will help with your imaginary symptoms. Alternatively, it kā paired with a verb means as if. Like if you want to say that somebody is a fool, but don't really want to say it directly, you can say, how are you acting? It kā muļķis būtu, as if you were a fool. Not that I'm saying you are, but the way you're acting. It kā būtu muļķis. Or it kā galvas nebūtu, as if you didn't have a head. Or if your dazzling argument has left your opponent speechless, you can say, no. Ko klusē, it kā mēli būtu norījis. Why are you so silent? As if you had swallowed your tongue. And finally, itin can be used with adjectives or adverbs to evaluate things in a way that means very, quite, relatively, and somewhat. For example, itin and labi, good, means quite well, which is a good response if somebody asks about how did your exam go. Man gāja itin labi. It went quite well. Or if an ex is testing the waters to see if you are suffering after your breakup, you can say, man iet itin labi bez tevis. I get on quite well without you. But if before getting on a roller coaster, the staff tells you that this roller coaster is itin drošs, I would not get on that roller coaster, because why would you not just say drošs, safe? Itin drošs in this case means more or less, or safe enough. Go to a drošs amusement park. Leave the itin out. Similarly, if you're thinking about doing or buying something that people do or buy itin bieži, also, why not just say bieži? Itin in this case is relatively, and that's probably also why this business that's trying to sell this thing to you is itin veiksmīgs. Veiksmīgs being successful instead of simply veiksmīgs. Itin adding here that element of relatively and surprisingly. Itin veiksmīgs. However, if you see it with sevišķi and īpaši, both of which mean special, it does not mean more or less special. It is actually an established expression that means especially. So let me know in the comments if you liked this video. It īpaši. Which use of itin did you like the most, and if you understand this word better now? Un nu viss. I have told you itin visu that I could think of about the word itin. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. Patreons, for you this time something special, an irregularly regular lesson on Latvian grammar. That's right, I've heard your requests and I have made a video explaining the table of declinations. Well, actually there's going to be 3 parts of that because it's quite a long grammar point. Check that out on Patreon, available now. And to everybody else, thanks again for watching this video, thanks for requesting this video, and feel free to request more topics in the comments. I read all of them, and I will see you soon, maybe. Bye!